What is up guys, New Limits here, and today I will be bringing you the only two leveling builds you will need for the Demon Hunter when you are leveling 1 to 70 in a new season. We can start off a new season using the Challenge Rift bag. This will give us a lot of materials. These materials can be used to upgrade one rare item in the cube. On the Demon Hunter we will upgrade a level 70 Dagger. There are only two daggers you can get and they both have multipliers. This means you are guaranteed to level at a pretty high torment level. They are Karlei's Point and Lord Greenstone's Fan. Today I will be bringing you a build for both these weapons and I will explain to you how to use these builds. I will leave a link in the description for both builds so you can use them when you are leveling your character. You will also get 475 blood shards that you can spend at Karlei. Make sure to get the Karlei's cube first, then upgrade your rare item before you spend your blood shards. You will spend these on bracers, getting the Reps of Clarity, giving you 40 to 50% damage reduction. If you have shards left, you can either go for Pox Faults for more damage or Leorics Crown for more EXP when you put a ruby in the socket. If you get the Karlei's Point, you can keep your shards and use them when you are level 31 to try and get the Holy Point shot. Please keep in mind that there are 4 Quivers in the legendary pool and you have a very low chance to get this Quiver. I just mentioned this because getting the Holy Point shot will be a huge damage boost, but it's very risky. I leave the choice to you. Please hit that like button as these videos take quite a long time to make, and consider subscribing if you haven't already. And without further ado, let's get right into the first and strongest leveling build with the Lord Greenstone's Fan. Every second gain 400% increased damage for your next Fan of Knives, stacking up 30 times. We're using Fan of Knives pinpoint accuracy, increase cooldown to 15 seconds and increase damage to 1600% weapon damage as lightning. Now the increasing cooldown does not matter because you gain more damage every second for your next Fan of Knives. So you want to wait longer than 15 seconds anyway, so the increasing cooldown does not matter. But this is by far the most damaging rune you can go on Fan of Knives, so this is by far the best rune you can go with. We're using Entangling Shot. Chain Gang, entangle and slow up to 4 enemies with each shot. We're mainly using this because it's going to be easier for us to group enemies. We're also using a Regenerator because we have most likely the Reps of Clarity. Your hit regenerator should reduce your damage taken by 40 to 50% for 5 seconds. So this is a really nice damage mitigator. And we're also using Entangling Shot because we are using Call the Weak. Increase your damage against slowed or chilled enemies by 20%. And we're using Numbing Traps. Enemies use slow, chill or hit with Fan of Knives have their damage reduced by 25 for 5 seconds. So you're gonna have 25% for 5 seconds on the Numbing Traps and you're gonna have 40 to 50% on your Reps of Clarity. So that is why we are going with Entangling Shot. We're using Vault. After using Vault, your next Vault within 6 seconds has its discipline cost reduced by 50%. This is just a great mobility skill. It's really great to have. It's gonna help you out quite a lot with survivability, with maneuverability, just going a little bit faster. We're using Smokescreen, reduce the cost to 8 discipline. We're gonna be using Smokescreen mainly if you are in a sticky situation, you really need to get out. Maybe there are certain abilities thrown at you like fireballs or certain projectiles, you can just Smokescreen, they can kill you. So that's gonna be really helpful, but mainly we're gonna be using it when you have everything set up. You're gonna go with your Fan of Knives for the killing blow. You want to click your Smokescreen, you want to walk forward, you're gonna be invulnerable so they can't hurt you, and you're gonna click on your Fan of Knives and you're gonna destroy absolutely everything. And it's just a really nice safe way to be able to get your Fan of Knives in, because you have a lot of enemies there. If you walk in generally with just your tumble, you might die, and that would be very unfortunate if you have 30 stacks and you die. We're also using Tactical Advantage. Whenever you use Vault, Shadow Power, Smokescreen or Backflip with Evasive Fire, you gain 60% movement speed for 2 seconds, giving us just more movement speed. We're gonna pair that up with Preparation, Invigoration, permanently increase maximum discipline by 20, and instantly restore 30 when you activate it. This is just gonna help us out to be able to use more vaults, more smoke screens, just gonna be really useful. And we are using Marked for Death. Valley of Death, mark an area on the ground of 15-yard radius for 15 seconds. Enemies in the area take 15% additional damage. If you don't want to use Tactical Advantage, You have other options for passives you can use. You can go for archery, because you most likely will be using a bow. You're gonna increase your damage with 8%, so that is really nice. You can use Perfectionist, reduce the discipline cost of all skills by 10%, increase your armor and resistances to all damage types by 10%. So it's gonna make you tankier, and your discipline cost is gonna be reduced if you feel like you're running out of discipline a little bit too often. And of course you can go for Ambush. I would most likely say once you actually get this passive to use it, you deal 40% additional damage to enemies above 75% health. You are basically one-shotting them when they are full health, so this is gonna be a beautiful, beautiful damage boost. But you only get it at level 64, so that is the really unfortunate part. Moving on to Karlei's point, the damage of Impale is increased by 375% and it returns 15 hatred if it hits an enemy that is already impaled. I'm gonna talk about two variations. The first variation is without a holy point shot, and a few things change when you do get the holy point shot. So it's up to you if you want to risk it. I totally leave that up to you, but I'm gonna talk about the first variation without the holy point shot. So we're gonna be using Impale over Penetration. The knife pierces through all enemies in a straight line for cold damage. We're gonna use this rune because this is the only rune that actually gives us AoE damage. Other than that, it's very single target based and it's not gonna help you out at all. So this is by far the best rune, and it's also gonna help you out with the hatred regeneration, just like we mentioned before. If you hit an enemy that is already impaled, you're gonna get 15 hatred back, and this is gonna help you out to spam a lot more impales out. Gonna use Evasive Fire Hardened. Instead of backflipping, your armor is increased by 25% for 3 seconds. You're gonna want to use Focus if you feel like your hatred is dropping too fast. It's gonna give you more hatred regeneration. We are using Boar Companion. Your boar charges to you, then taunts all enemies within 20 yards for 5 seconds. This is gonna be really helpful to survive a little bit longer. If you're in a sticky situation, you can click on your Boar Companion and he's gonna help you survive. The boar increases you and your party's life regeneration by a certain amount depending on what level you are, and resistances to all elements by 20%. So the healing is actually really nice, and the all resistances is really not that bad either. We're using Fan of Knives Bladed Armor, gain 40% additional armor for 6 seconds. We're using Vault Tumble, we already discussed what that is. We're using Preparation Punishment, restores 75 hatred. Preparation has a 20-second cooldown. So when you are throwing out your Impale and you're running out of hatred, you don't just always have to auto attack with your Evasive Fire, but you can also use your Preparation to gain some hatred back. We're using Thrill of the Hunt. Enemies hit by your hatred spenders are slowed by 80% for 2 seconds. We're using Call the Weak, increase damage against slowed or chilled enemies by 20%. And we're using Numbing Traps. Enemies you slow, chill or hit with Fan of Knives have their damage reduced by 25%. So this is just a really nice combination. You're throwing your hatred spender, which is your Impale in this case. They're gonna get slowed. You will deal 20% more damage to those slowed enemies, and they deal 25% less damage. So it's just a really nice synergy that those three passives have. Moving on to the Holy Point Shot with Karlei's point. This is a much stronger version, of course. We're gonna still be using Impale over Penetration, but your hatred regeneration is gonna be way better because you are throwing 3 knives at once. So you're always gonna hit an enemy that is already impaled, and your hatred regeneration is gonna be absolutely crazy. So generally, you're not really gonna run out of hatred at all. We're using Boar Companion because, you know, for the safety, it's just really nice. We're using Preparation Invigoration. So passive, permanently increase maximum discipline by 20, and we're gonna gain 30 discipline when we click it, which is gonna help us out to get more vaults off. So it's gonna give us way more mobility. We do not need the hatred regeneration anymore. We're using Fan of Knives Bladed Armor, gain 40% additional armor for 6 seconds. Just having that 40% additional armor is just really nice. So I think this is very valuable to still keep on your bar. And we're gonna use Marked for Death Contagions. When the enemy is killed, the mark spread to the closest 3 enemies within 30 yards. This effect can chain repeatedly. So what you're gonna do here is you're just gonna spam out your Impale. And once you see an enemy is very low, generally on an insect, but just any enemy that is very low, and he's about to die, you click your marked for dead on that enemy, you kill him, and it's just gonna start spreading, and the spread can go very fast. So it's actually a really nice skill to have, just gonna increase your damage with 15%, which is just really nice. For the passives we're still using the same thing, Thrill of the Hunt, Kill the Weak, Numbing Traps, exactly for the same reason as we already discussed. The synergy is just really nice. I want to thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to hit that like button and consider subscribing to the channel for more videos in the future. And I will see you guys in the next one.